Good evening from Washington. I'm Larry O'Connor, and the Biden classified documents scandal continues to grow. And gee, it almost seems like the Justice Department has a double standard with how you're treating this Democrat over classified documents versus how you're treating Donald Trump. Well, to get to the bottom of that and other things going on in the House of Representatives, we've got Congressman Mark Alford, one of the freshman class, great new Republicans joining the House of Representatives this year. Thanks for joining us, Congressman.
Thank you, Larry, for having me.
Well, I'm not wrong here. I mean, everyone in America knows there is a double standard. It's almost like there's two tiers of justice here. But this thing is so obvious, anybody can figure it out. What can Congress do about this?
Well, Larry, exactly what we can do is insist that Attorney General Merrick Garland appoint a special prosecutor, as he did investigating President Trump and the Mar-a-Lago find there of the documents there. We sent this letter today to Attorney General Merrick Garland to do exactly that. We have more than 40 congressional leaders and congressmen and women on this list to really request and demand that Attorney General Merrick Garland find out exactly how this happened, why the White House delayed giving this information to the media and to Americans, really.
Yeah.
They waited till after the election. And really, you know, you talked about hypocrisy. We have a plague of hypocrisy here in America when it comes to the Democrats and the Republicans, the weaponization of the Justice Department. It is a travesty what is going on. We really need to find out, was this on the president's part an absence of malice, but it was a more continued absence of his mind in this regard?
Yeah, and you know, this undermining of our faith in our justice system is incredibly deteriorating and demoralizing to Americans. I know that this is shot through the lens of Republican versus Democrat, but the overall effect is you can't trust the Justice Department, you can't trust the FBI, and that affects all Americans, sir.
It does. We need to get back to the point where we can trust law enforcement. We can trust the FBI, the CIA, everyone involved, especially at the federal level, which we deal with, that they are not taking sides. They're not taking a Republican side. They're not taking a Democrat side. They are taking the side of truth. And as we've said in our campaign, it was a major point, a talking point in our campaign. Truth is the only thing that matters. And until we get back to that in America, we are not going to have true justice.
Well, speaking of truth, the latest story is that this new mound of classified documents were in the garage, President Biden's garage in Wilmington, Delaware, and I guess presumably they've been there since the end of the Obama administration. Not a very secure location. This is actually becoming a national security concern, is it not?
It is. And the difference, I think one of the key differences between these documents found in what was in the vice president's folders and files that were found next to his, as he likes to brag about, his Corvette that was locked up as well.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm wondering, he's taking better care of his Corvette than he is classified information, which I think is a travesty.
It's a strong point, yeah.
But this was done when he was vice president. The president of the United States has the authority to declassify information, as we know. The vice president does not have that authority. So if these were moved by him or someone on his staff, whether he had knowledge of it or not, we need to come to a realization and the facts in this case to figure out exactly what the vice president at that time knew about these documents, what exactly is in that. You heard him say from Mexico yesterday that he was told not to even ask what these documents were, which I find that very disturbing. And if you notice now when he's doing any reaction or answering questions about this, he's reading from his palm cards once again.
Yeah. We're speaking with Congressman Mark Alford, a freshman congressman from Missouri. And if I could, I want to bring it back to the Justice Department here, because first of all, we're to believe this timeline they're giving us that they found out right when the midterm elections were taking place, not when everyone was talking about classified documents back in August after the Mar-a-Lago raid. That stretches credulity. But then, as you mentioned, Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, announces a special prosecutor in the Trump Mar-a-Lago case. At that time, he had to have known about the Biden documents, and yet he made no mention of it in mid-November and certainly didn't say anything. He only referred this to the U.S. Attorney in Chicago after it was made public through media leaks.
That's another part of a disturbing set of facts in the timeline of this story. And I think Attorney General Merrick Garland, who has further delayed his news conference for today, asking questions about this very matter, or answering questions about this very matter, I'm sure that's one of the things they're going to have to answer to the American public too. Exactly when did they find out? We presume that we know that it was, of course, before the midterm elections. That has come out in the press now. And why did they wait? That's the most important question. Was this a deliberate attempt, as we've seen in the Twitter files that have been released over the last couple of weeks? Was this a deliberate attempt to skew the election and take away really our choices as American voters?
Well, and this all sort of, as you mentioned, the Twitter files, it sort of adds to the pile of things that we have learned about how the FBI and the Justice Department has acted politically over the last several years. What do you hope the new Republican Congress will be able to do with regard to not only exposing this, but maybe actually instituting some reforms?
Well, one of the great things, Larry, about being here, we have already accomplished this week an incredible amount. We have unified as a party and as a conference out on that floor. It is great to be able to be there with these other members who are much more senior than I, and they're all saying, we are actually getting something done. This is such a refreshing change. The Democrats have been in charge for so long. Things were disorderly, chaos. They had proximity voting. They had people testifying by Zoom for committees. Not anymore. Part of our rules package, you got to be here to vote. Get your behind on that floor and you vote, because that is your district. You're supposed to be a voice for them. We've defunded the 87,000 IRS agents as we promised to do in the commitment to America. Yesterday, I think one of the most proud moments I had to vote so far, and I haven't voted that much, but I will remember this vote forever, is we passed the Born Alive Survivors Act. Our good friend Ann Wagner, a member of the Missouri delegation, wrote this bill several years ago. It has not seen the light of day, really. It now protects individuals like Melissa Oden from Kansas City, who was a survivor of abortion.
Yeah.
It does happen. It is not an anomaly. It does happen where babies survive botched abortions and are left there to die by medical practitioners.
Yeah. And
that's going to be illegal now. That I can't even believe we were talking about this to begin with. How can anyone on the other side think that this is somehow part of humanity?
Congressman Alford, all 210 of your Democrat colleagues voted against that. And yeah, we use this term botched abortion. There's another term for it, a childbirth. That's what it is.
Exactly.
Congressman Alford, real fast in our final 30 seconds. I know y'all in Kansas City think you invented pro football, but there's a showdown down the road with the Buffalo Bills. Have you thought about a bet with your colleague, Democrat Congressman Higgins of Buffalo?
We have talked about it a little bit. Of course, we have some great barbecue. They've got the Buffalo,
chicken wings.
Chicken wings. We actually had buffalo pizza here yesterday. I think that was our concession to them here in the office. But we are, I tell you what, they are a team to be reckoned with. They have been through a lot in the last couple of weeks.
Amen.
I think they have the nation on their side to some degree. But we have Patrick Mahomes.
There it is. I knew it was coming. I'm telling you, they invented it. It's like they've become worse than the cheeseheads in Green Bay. Thank you, Congressman. More to come on O'Connor Tonight.